play reviews, and the like. There's Jeff Brom and his counterpart, 73 years young today, Frank Solich. He's only had 4 jobs in his career, 2 in high school, 1 at Nebraska, and this 4th one he is going to take to the finish line. Ohio won the toss, deferred, so the Boilermakers will receive. Michael Farkas will kick it away for the Bobcats, and back deep, Huron Catlett, number 18, and DJ Knox will be playing a great deal more at the running back position because of the injury to Markel Jones. This is Catlett, and he'll take a knee, so it'll be 1st and 10 after the touchback for the Boilermakers. And you touched on it, Spencer. Elijah Sindelar will bring out this team as the starting quarterback with the understanding that the veteran Blau will get some playing time. But it's this young man that's got the stronger arm and connected with Anthrop on a couple of occasions. Both touchdown passes were thrown by him last week.
I think it's telling, Tim, because he played as much last week as he did almost the entire season last year. So that shows you what kind of confidence that Jeff Brom has in this talented, gifted quarterback.
Tario Fuller, number 25, is the lone setback. Anthrop is flanked to the top of the screen, and there goes Fuller. Quick hitter beyond the 30 to the 32-yard line. It's Chad Moore, number 38, with a stop. And let's get some Tillman takes.
Really quickly, Tim, it's all about the platoon at quarterback. They're going to have to make very significant decisions, push the ball upfield, and then ultimately, you got to be able to stop them on those down and distance scenarios.
Here's a take. You got to ad lib when you're going fast in this game. As Fuller is stopped by Evan Crouch, number 47, as they go with tempo early. You got to get those takes in quickly now.
Absolutely. Level. We didn't expect pace and tempo to be used as a tactical advantage so early on, but that's Jeff Brom. We shouldn't be surprised.
1st and 10 after that quick run. I've just been told that the editor says only 1 take next week.
Either that or consult with the offensive coordinator.
Yeah. Fuller again. Boy, he popped that one, didn't he? Tario. Inside the 30 to the 25. Nelson, 23, made the stop.
A little soft spot off that left side, and you can see the fullback's up there right in front of him. Worship to put a hat on that linebacker defender. He uses speed to get to that outside. That's what we're talking about. This is what Ohio could not allow to happen for this balance to be established so early, because you know they're going to ultimately be able to throw the ball.
Here's Knox, who played very well a week ago, ahead for 3. Fuller had to get a blow after that 39-yard run. Quentin Poling, number 32, 7-time MAC Player of the Week a season ago. In 2016, that young man had 110 tackles, 67 solo with the stop. It's 2nd down and 7.
It was really good to see Richie Worship, the big fullback who was active, had a score last week, blocking inside.
Quick out. Phillips got it, and he was nailed immediately. It was Brad Ellis, number 3, the freshman from Bedford, Ohio, that made the tackle.
That's a big-time throw, and it's a dangerous throw. Ellis is out there on an island by himself. You got to have a strong arm, and you got to be confident and make sure that you've read that properly and make a proper decision to avoid those turnovers that plagued them last year.
Spencer, in this drive alone, Purdue has outrushed all of last week. They had a harder time, obviously, running against Louisville's forward roll.
Well, that was the second half of my quick take that we didn't get to take.
Sindelar shoots it right into the hands of Anthony Mahangu, and the senior just dropped it between the 2 and the 1.
Well, you can see again the position there, just a little in route, in cut, just to check it down underneath. Does a nice job of settling down, just didn't focus in it and bring it and catch the ball. Again, the fundamentals of the game with these guys have got to lock in. Under the lights, new context for them, got to focus on the details.
Spencer Evans will try a 36-yard field goal. Young man out of Arlington, Texas, handles all of the long kicking duties. He's got a slight angle left from the right hash. Right through the uprights. Well done. After that quick start, a dropped pass, and there were a couple of those, and being somewhat defensive of both Blau and Sindelar, there were a number of drops by the tight end. There was a big one that could have gone for a touchdown last week, and there we saw a drop by Mahangu that, if you look back on it, that was a chance for them to get more than 3. That's a win for Frank Solich's team.
Well, sure, it really is. And Tony Porter, Kevin Robbins, all of those guys up front for Ohio have better stiffen up because, again, you may not have to achieve a balance if they can not block up front. Again, they've got to be able to have nice run fits, shut that down. Otherwise, time with this Purdue can hit their head on the goalpost half the time they carry the ball.
And it's a senior that dropped it. Dorian Brown and Kylan Nelson will be back in twin safeties awaiting this kick from Evans. Last week, well, that was just amazing, the touchbacks. And Jeff Brom told us that's the difference. In today's game and special teams, it means a lot to have a guy that can put it through the end zone more oftentimes than not. 3 yards deep, he'll bring it out. This is Kylan Nelson. Stopped at the 15. Good coverage by the Boilermakers. Evans was down there involved in it as well. And Antonio Blackman helped corral him. Quentin Maxwell, redshirt sophomore, Rabel, Missouri. This is a young man that's got extraordinary speed. 4.74 in the 40. And a young man that was 7 of 9 for 100 yards last week in their victory. This is his 8th start, and we will see quite a bit of Nathan Rourke as well, the junior college transfer. Option football. Get ready for it. It's coming right at you. This is A.J. Olette, their top runner, stopped at the point of attack by Kewan Jones, number 50. He's in there in large measure because of the loss of Lorenzo Neal.
And without Neal even in the middle, you see the stout, even Robinson, all those guys up there, Higgins and company surrounding around the ball. This is exactly what Ohio cannot afford to happen. Not to be able to establish their run game, that's what they want a heavy dose of.
Purdue, Nick Holt, their defensive coordinator, very strong up front. Had a number of goal line stands and turnovers against Louisville that really helped keep them in the game. Quick out pattern for Poppy White. And this is a young guy that you'll be hearing quite a bit of. Sophomore from Seminole, Oklahoma. He'll get the ball in a variety of ways. 12-yard pickup. And Spencer, how about those Tillman takes?
Well, we're going to be short, I can tell you that. It's all about the Bobcats. They want to shorten the game, and they're trying to do that, but they've got to win first and second down. Alternately, you got to flip the field if you're Purdue. They've already essentially done that with chunk plays. A lot of ways you can flip it. Turnovers one of them, chunk plays another.
Olette carries. He's down at the 40s. Nice Evelyn Wood Tillman taking there. T.J. McCollum, number 6, one of those graduate transfers that came over with Braun from Western Kentucky, making the tackle. Pickup of 3, 2nd and 7. Olette remains the lone setback. Option, Maxwell. Nifty running there, really, to get as much as he did out of that. Good defensive work by Josh Okonye, number 8. Coming up from corner.
Yeah, Maxwell did an excellent job. Number 7, the quarterback of that read, a clear read. He pulls it out and takes it to the edge. Reminds me of the old Sooner days when we were running that wishbone. Ride and mesh, baby. Get to the edge.
Even Aikman did a little bit of that, didn't he?
He sure did. Oklahoma.
We wish all of our friends on the NFL a great weekend. The NFL on Fox. Olette remains the setback. 3rd down and 4. Broken up. Beautiful defensive play by Okonye again. This is the transfer from Wake Forest, another 5-year senior against Brandon Cope.
Okonye with great ball steals. Watch him after being redirected. Gather, get his eyes focused on the quarterback and close on that ball. Just a tremendous job. Ball skills. He's got that left hand around the back, but it's hitting. Official's not going to catch that. That's great ball skills by Okonye, and then closing on the ball. Outstanding.
Secondary coach Anthony Poindexter is going to be really pleased. That was a clinic on how to close on the football.
After being redirected to Tim, that's the great part about that defense.
Anthrop is back deep. Hargis will punt it away, gets it off at about his 25, and a quick fair catch called for by Jackson.
Jimmy Burrow, the defensive coordinator, you want to encourage those poor choices. You can encourage those quarterbacks to do it, vary in your coverage, then you have a chance to stop them from being successful in the air.
I feel so much better now. Here's Sindelar out of the pocket. Shoots it to Anthrop, his favorite target. He's out of bounds at the 41-yard line.
We talked about last week how this freshman Anthrop is outstanding. He has poise beyond his years. There's a lineage that Holly talked about. His brother played 3 years prior to that, but he brings all of that lineage and that balance with him in the slot, in the middle position. Let's see if they work this teacup formation. Little switch routes.
I like that down at the bottom of your screen. DJ Knox turns it back up. By the way, teacup is another way of calling it bubble.
Yep.
When you've got 3 guys down there at the bottom, give me the illustration of teacup.
Well, June Jones really created that concept when we were at Houston. Mouse Davis and all those guys, he would take a line and just run a line from that furthest receiver up through the middle guy and to the other guy. And you said, hey, if you turn that sideways, kind of looks like a teacup, doesn't it? So we've been calling it teacup ever since. So give it to Mouse Davis and June Jones and those guys.
Quick look in, and there it is, on target.
That's the second drop tonight,
And
Tim.
Holmes dropped it again. Boy, I mean, right on the floor. And by the way, that's going to go a long way. I'm thinking maybe even a touchdown with Holmes' speed.
Well, it was man coverage on the back end, and that's what would have allowed for it to be a touchdown.
Yep.
Great play call against a coverage that was conducive to the big play.
2 big drops already for Purdue. And they had, as I mentioned, 1 for a touchdown and a drop by Hopkins that could have kept a big drive alive late in the 3rd quarter against Louisville last week. 3rd and 10. Out of the gun. Sindelar. Make it 3 in a row. This time it's Anthrop. It's a disease that's catching sometimes, pardon the pun, among teammates.
Now that's a surprise because Anthrop, of all the guys here, he probably should have not necessarily high pointed that ball, but plucked it out of the air. The ball was delivered, had a nice little pressure point on it. Little pressure, but that didn't affect the throw.
Spencer, Chad Moore got a hand on that. I'm going to give Anthrop a break. We'll go back and look at that in a second, and you'll see that there was a deflection, just a very slight deflection,
Tim,
before he had a chance to get it.
If it touches his hands, you got to catch it.
Oh, I'm with you. Poppy White is back deep, but it's a point that needed to be made. I didn't notice it until the second replay. White with a fair catch called for at the 12-yard line. 46-yard boot. Big misses of opportunities early for the Boilermakers. They lead by 3 in the early going at Ross-Ade Stadium.
Check this out.
And here's that tip by Chad Moore we were talking about, Spencer.
Well, this is why hand coordination is so important, and it's, once again, if I can mix metaphors in sports, why baseball players really struggle with hitting the baseball. It's the depth. That ball is coming hot at you on a line in front. It's very difficult to discern the depth perception of the ball that's been redirected.
Maxwell on a rollout, looking for Poppy White. Incomplete over his head. Frank Solich is among the longest tenured coaches in the game today. 3rd longest tenured coach with some big names in the profession. Gary Patterson of TCU. They got Arkansas coming up this week. And Kurt Ferentz now in his 19th season at Kinnick Stadium. The Hawkeyes head man.
Hard to believe it's 13 seasons he's been here at Ohio since leaving Nebraska, but it's been that long, Tim.
Yeah. Frank is now 3rd all-time in career MAC victories with 88. A.J. Ouellette remains in the backfield on 2nd and 10. Ouellette tries to cut back against the grain. Nice work by Marcus Bailey, 21. The linebacker. Last week against Louisville, he had 4 tackles in a hurry.
And they moved him all around of the field. That time he came from the backside unblocked, and that speed and athleticism at 6'1", 231. He really moves extremely fast for a guy that size. You can see his closing speed on that tackle.
Keep an eye out on Poppy White. Down in distance situations and 3rd and 10 here. Quick drop out of the shotgun. That one is too strong, intended for Andrew Meyer, number 9. Into the game for Cameron Odom. He'll share time at that wide receiver spot, and it'll be a punt formation coming up for the Bobcats.
And no matter what happens, this is going to be excellent field position for Purdue. Frank Solich not happy about that because the last thing we talked about it in our takes a minute ago, flipping the field or giving them a short field. You don't want to do that with a Jeff Braun offense.
Fargus only had to punt the ball 3 times and averaged 40 yards last week in that huge win against Hampton. This is a team that's considered the favorite in their division in the Mid-American Conference, and what a solid league John Steinbrecher has. And it's a fake. He's going to go with it. He called his own number, and he got it with ease.
That's a gutsy call right there, man.
Beautiful read And that tells you what it means to these teams in the MAC conference. They let it all go. It's all about having the opportunity.
And there's, in a very real sense, that was almost like an option decision by the punter. He could have punted it, or he could have kept it, which he did, and it paid off. He's reading that as he's running. That's a 16-yard game. Tremendous decision, first of all, by Frank Solich calling the play, and the option and the design of it to give the punter the option to run.
Well, they saw something in scouting, too, from that Louisville game. Solich is one of the really outstanding coaches, doesn't miss much. Olet takes it again from Maxwell. Burrows ahead. Maybe a couple.
And every coach has got a few tricks in his bag, but at some point in time, you got to come back to basic football. And for Frank Solich in Ohio, it's about running and winning first and second down. You got to get 3 to 5 yards to put yourself in a position where you create run-pass conflicts for the defense.
2nd and 7. Pressure. Looked as though he was in a forward motion there, but it was coming right up the gut yet again. Big time pressure up the middle. Eddie Wilson among those that were right in Maxwell's face.
T.J. McCallum, number 6, was coming off the edge as well. And again, they had what we call a port side directional charge on. Everybody's going to the right, stemming that direction. That pressure is really tough to get. McCallum did a fantastic job of, as the free man, creating even more pressure to put a period on the end of that pressure look.
You hate to have a fake punt go well and then get nothing out of it. 3rd down and 7. Olet is back in the backfield. On the cross. Pass was for Cameron Odom, and DeJuan Hunt, number 2, was there.
I thought there may have been a little bit of contact there ahead of time, but obviously the official didn't see it that way.
The ball may have been overthrown enough that they felt it wasn't catchable. Maxwell now only 1 out of 6, and so the fake punt that looks so good is snuffed out by yet another stand by the Purdue defense.
And let's not forget now, Maxwell is the thrower of the 2. Again, you can see he's got great protections against this 4-man rush.
Yep.
The formation to the field, Tim, another one of those punt scenarios. They got an end rusher that's out there. I don't doubt if they do it this time.
This one's a bit off the side of the foot of Fargus. Anthem's got it at his 27. Look out. He gets out of bounds, shoved out at the 33-yard line. The pump, the circumstance. Boiler up is what they call it here in West Lafayette. Fake punt gets really nothing in return for the visiting Bobcats.
I'll have to.
Taking on number 14 Stanford, their true nemesis. The Cardinal have won 8 of the last 11 between those two. It's college football on FS1 and Fox. Dario Fuller got off to a quick start, but great penetration that time. Quentin Poling wound up making the stop, but a great penetrative move from the defensive end, Trent Smart, number 90.
Well, penetration will disrupt most plays, and again, if you're playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage, that's a negative 2-yard effect there because the player was active, running and chasing to the football.
Elijah Sindelar is quarterbacked in some tough luck. He's had 3 drops. Going long again. This one almost picked off. And they're going to call interference, it appears, late. Brad Ellis on Gregory Phillips. Phillips, by the way, had one of those key drops a week ago. But it looks as though the bump did take place as he cut off his route.
Holding. Defense. For 3. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Ellis got away with one earlier. You can see again the release is clean underneath. You got 2 levels working with the shallow crossing route to clear up that opening. But again, they caught Ellis with the infraction and the hold.
Luke Richmond is our referee tonight. That's the first penalty flag of the game. 1st and 10, and Fuller remains in as the setback, and he'll take off. He's ahead to the 47-yard line.
Nice call. Little lag draw on that call there. Here's a previous penalty here. You can see the releases upfield. He gets his shoulder turned around, and Ellis just grabs that hand and spins him around a little bit. Then the incidental contact on the back end, but it was the first or the initial contact that got him in trouble.
Gain of 6 on the last play. It's 2nd and 4. Fuller will tote it again, running strong, running hard, and he's got a first down. Chad Moore again in on the stop. The redshirt senior linebacker from Grove City, Ohio.
Big, heavy running inside. Looking, the low man wins. It ain't complicated. It's all about physics. If you got your pad level lower than the opposition, more often than not, you're going forward. He's going backwards.
So he was running with a square jaw.
Yes,
right?
sir.
That's what he was doing. 1st and 10. Play fake. Sindelar. They had 2 receivers in the same spot. So clearly there was an issue somewhere. Phillips and Hopkins were both running basically the same route.
Well, it's rare that you'd have guys stacked, particularly in the short side of the field. So maybe there was some communication problem. But again, Phillips was there over the top. Yeah, that's just a miscommunication on the route. I look at a lot of plays, and I don't ever see one where you've got 2 guys in the same vicinity like that.
Little bubble screen inside to Terry Wright. And he's got it ahead to the 40-yard line of Ohio University.
Like that play to the field where a lot of water is there, put it in the hands of an athlete like Wright who can run in space. Great call.
Jeff Brom, former Louisville great, helped along with Browning Nagel to take Howard Schnellenberger's early teams at Louisville on to bowl success. And then Bobby Petrino took it to another level, and he was his assistant. He touched on that a week ago. Sindelar again. Beautiful. Right on the seam and right to Corey Phillips that time. Great post route run there.
Well, Sindelar sent a laser. A 4-man rush, so he had plenty of time, plenty of protection. And watch him square those feet and get him underneath him, and he just delivers a strike. It's outstanding pitch and catch there.
Now that arm strength really was on exhibit right there. 22-yard pickup. 1st and 10, the ball at the 17. Fuller goes out into motion. Oh, touchdown! Hopkins!
This is about putting a guy or a defense on an item. You can see the tight end against a cover 2 scheme. The middle of the field is where it's going to be most open. Those 2 safeties split apart. He found the distance between them. Hopkins in for the score.
J.D. Dellinger will try for the extra point. I tell you, when Sindelar sends it, it's airmailed. It's up to you to get the Velcro on. That happened here. The big tight end for the touchdown.
Mom, was Dad.
Body language, the confidence, the communication with his guys, that engenders a sense of confidence. They're smiling, they're happy right now. This is a confident team that played the then 16th ranked Louisville Cardinal to a death match down to the end. They were in that contest with a few minutes remaining.
Cole Herdman and Bryson Hopkins were the 2 tight ends down there chatting with him, Spence. And if he's going to have a lot of success, they're going to have to play big this season, especially in Big Ten games. Dorian Brown is backed up big time, so yet again, kickoff chores handled beautifully by Spencer Evans.
Well, to finish your point there, when they get Markel Jones back, of course, he hurt his knee on a kickoff return actually last week, and so he's going to be missing some time. But they're deep enough at the running back position to buoy them until they do get everybody back. And if they ever achieve balance, whatever that constitutes, they're going to be a dangerous team to deal with, in my opinion, in this conference.
Looks like we're having a pitching change for Frank Solich's club after Maxwell got off to a bit of a shaky start. Nathan Rourke, number 12, making his way out for the first time. This young man took quite a route to make his way to Athens, Ohio. We'll get into that. Quite a map that he's covered to become the quarterback here. Let's see how quickly they play with Dorian Brown in the backfield behind him, out of the shotgun.
This quarterback option is a runner.
Brown ahead for about a yard, and that's all. T.J. McCollum again making the tackle.
Nathan Rourke is the guy who actually is the runner. He's the person that they're going to put the ball in his hands to make a difference on those early downs. Keeping it conservative, but they've got to win 1st and 2nd down. 1 or 2 yards is not enough.
In junior college, he had 2,367 yards rushing and 18 touchdowns before making his way to Ohio University.
He doesn't like the play he's in. He's trying to get into a quality play.
On 2nd and 8. Nothing doing for Brown again. McCollum read it in a hurry. Well, the ball is, the flag comes out late on the play, so maybe a little bit too much energy lasting a little too long. Let's check in with our referee.
After the play, personal foul. Defense, number 7, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Eddie Wilson. A little too much extra after the initial hit was made.
Well, number 7, Eddie Wilson, there comes in at the bottom after the contact, piling on over the top. You can't do that. It never helps your team. A little selfish move there by number 7, Eddie Wilson.
Well, the punter had 16 yards on a fake punt, only 24 yards on 13 other plays. That's been it for yardage, and now first downs based on
got a little
penalties.
Nasty blitz look here, Tim.
It's Brown again. He pops outside. Nicely done. How about that quickness, huh? He got to the edge a little sooner than Jalen Robinson would have hoped, although he did run him down to eventually make the tackle. But that's a 12-yard scamper by Dorian.
Especially noted because Marcus Bailey was coming off the backside to create a full-out pressure look. Very tough to get plus yards against those many bodies around the line of scrimmage. That's a great individual effort by the back.
From the 44 of Purdue, Ohio University has finally made it into their territory. 2 and change remaining in the first quarter. Rourke looking for Poppy White down the sideline. I think he may have gotten a foot in. At the 27-yard line. Nice little acrobatic act by the...
More like a shoot route on the backside. It wasn't a wheel, but he got it up there and probably did a nice job of getting that left foot down and inbounds. I think the quarterback wanted to get that ball out in a hurry because he saw the play. His initial read said it was open.
Took all 5'9" of him to make that catch. Here he goes again to the wide side of the field, and you see the quickness that he has. Poppy is a really special young man.
Well, they move him around a lot. Again, an opportunity to get him the ball on the large or the wide side of the field is what you want to do. Nice little protection up front, an escort blocking for him. Almost had a blocking in the back there. Poppy's an outstanding athlete in space.
3 catches for 45 yards for him. Dorian Brown remains the setback. White is at the slot to the bottom of your screen. Brown again. And Dorian ducks under to about the 6. Marcus Bailey, number 21, made the stop. Well, the energy for this drive really got underway after the penalty on Wilson.
It really looks like a solid drive. I mean, for them, what constitutes balance, it doesn't necessarily have to be equal amount of passing plays. They're running the ball effectively with the option game with the new change at quarterback.
2nd down and 5. The ball just outside the 6. We'll call it the 7. A.J. Olette in the backfield.
I like the left side of this look here. You can run it straight. Nice.
It's Olette. And he ducks under to about the 3. Gain of about 4. Marcus Bailey making the tackle. Well, we came into this drive thinking about Purdue's strength up the middle. You're seeing now what that option game can do once you've stretched that defense some, Spencer, horizontally.
Yeah, Joe Lowry, too, and then Joe Anderson, the left guard and tackle, respectively, doing a nice job of opening up that soft spot. It wasn't quite a bubble necessarily, but the walked-off backer created a one-man advantage that last play that allowed for the plus yardage down now in the green zone inside the 5.
They've got 3 four-year starters on this Ohio University offensive line. The center and the 2 tackles. Option to the wide side to Olette, and it's wide open. Touchdown. That was a textbook option drive by Frank Solich's team.
Number 4, Juwan Bentley, falls down. He gets blocked. That's the difference right there. When you're running the option game, boy, you better not get cut blocked. It's all about each one, reach one. If you miss an assignment, that's what happens.
Louis Zervos will have the extra point. The way this game was going, you had to feel that Ohio University needed to answer, and boy did they, with the help of some penalties by Purdue early.
Love it, shop it, own it. eBay Fashion.
A.J. Olette capped off the drive, but Dorian Brown did the lion's share of toting it during that drive that really, I think, Spencer got going after the Eddie Wilson personal foul to give them finally some room with which to work. And you see the rushing touchdown leaders, and yeah, the Bobcats are right up there among some teams that you already know are very effective running the football. A lot of them option teams.
This team's success really hinges on Olette. I think in last year he was the team's leading rusher, 63 yards on 12 carries, along with 13 last week in the shutout of Hampton. This is the heart and soul. He's a team captain this all of last year because of an injury. If they can get him running, they're playing exactly the brand of ball that they need to steal a win here.
Catlett will take a knee. That was an 8-play, 75-yard drive and only 21 yards offensively prior to that. So just finally getting some field position after that penalty on Wilson, I think, is what keyed the success that Ohio University had. Of course, they did make the pitching change too and got Rourke in there. As you said, the better runner of the two quarterbacks. But both of them are very, very effective. Now Elijah Sindelar back onto the field. We do expect to see David Blau more than likely in the second quarter unless Elijah gets really, really hot. And in that last drive, he looked like he was about to begin scorching. Brian Langford Johnson is in the backfield. And he'll tote it to the 25-yard line, stopped again by Chad Moore, whose name we've called many times over. Number 38, the outside linebacker.
Yeah, he's playing that Sam position as Moore, number 38. And again, he folded down inside on that play, made a tremendous stop. Just almost a negative play on that.
Well, we're coming down to the end of the first quarter. And Friday Night Lights in the Big Ten with a MAC attack taking place. They're the stationary lights that have been brought in for good. And there's Elijah Sindelar with a second down play coming up as we open the second quarter. Play fake. Sindelar sends it long. And there was a mix-up on the route. Zico just basically broke off his own route. It wasn't a double coverage.
Brad Ellis was back there. There was some contact too initially. You can see the isolation route. He's playing what they call a camp inside technique. It's straight. He knows he has coverage behind him over the top, but he was playing more like a man concept, and there was a little bit of contact.
Hagan, the safety, was coming over there late. It's third down. See, almost 10 yards to the number. The line to make just shy of the 35. Sindelar loops this one down the sidelines. He was looking long for Phillips. Nothing doing there, and a quick 3 and out. Brad Ellis again right with Gregory Phillips.
Great coverage, a man-free concept, single safety high in the hole. Everybody has to anchor down and make sure you win your individual battle despite the pressure. He got it out, but once again, great coverage on the back end.
He's ready to punt it away. Poppy White is back deep. Poppy making his move towards the far sideline, and a tremendous block will allow him to get some outstanding field position up to the 44-yard line. Take a look at this block down the sideline, Spence.
Well, I tell you, this is one of the things you got to have your head on a swivel. That's what we're talking about. A nice job of understanding you got to have your head across the body so as to not to confuse that with a personal foul. You can see it, a clean hit, a shoulder right to the chest to allow the Bobcat to get to the edge for extra yards. Nice job.
Well, we've been at this for 20 of 21 years, and recently my eldest daughter, Tiffany, who loves this guy, had a baby boy named Spencer. Yeah, named after you.
How about that? I'm honored. Absolutely.
Spencer Brando Cruz.
There he is.
Natalie attired in his LSU gear. She's a Tiger, as you well know.
Hot boudin cool couscous.
Get ready, Twitter. I'll be hearing about that. But we're so happy that Spencer is here, along with Wilma Scarlett. We've got 2 grandbabies now in the last year. Welcome to this world, little Spencer Brando Cruz. Sounds like a shortstop with the Cubs, don't you think?
It does.
Kid's got game. Got a delayed game here coming against Ohio U.
First down.
By the way, I want to talk a little bit about the block that was made a moment ago, and then there was a warning along the sideline that was given later. Dean, give us an explanation on that.
Yeah, that's a block that's coming from the blind side, so the blocker has to stay below the head neck area, and it looks like he did a good job leading with the shoulder and going to the chest versus going to the head, which would have been a foul. By the way, the warning came from Ohio University coming out onto the field. Sideline etiquette is a point of emphasis. You may have heard our referee discussing that as Dorian Brown takes it ahead for a couple of yards. Kewan Jones making the stop. I guess that means, by the way, I've got to invite you to a holiday dinner sometime.
Hey, that's automatic.
You have a
I thought you already
in the
had me, man. You got to kill the fatty calf, man. You got to welcome me home.
2nd and 12.
Just a 3-man front. Plenty of time.
For the sidelines, plenty of cushion there, given Brendan Cope makes the tackle. Marcus Bailey isolated with him, gave him plenty of room over there, 17-yard gain.
And part of what made it possible, again, Coop hauls that in, but he had plenty of time. Just a 3-man rush. You got 5 to block 3. The numbers work to your advantage. It's a nice pitch and catch.
Brendan Cope, a senior from Warren, Ohio, injured last season, was one of the really faster players on this team, so keep an eye on him if he keeps getting that much room. From the 42 of Purdue. First down, they fake the option and roll into a pass here, but no one's available, and Rourke can run it. And he takes it inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. We talked about Gulliver's Travels, right? Take a look at this road to Athens. Okay, he moved from Canada after the 11th grade to play at Edgewood Academy in Alabama. Then he spent a year at Fort Scott Junior College in Kansas before transferring to Ohio.
Sometimes, you know, you have to go that circuitous route to be successful, man.
Yes, you do. Gain of 4 on that scamper, and it's 2nd down and 6. Pressure off the edge. They run the option into the boundary. Brown was going to try to make a cutback, but Austin Larkin would have none of it. Number 45, another 5th-year senior.
That's great defense, but you know what? I question the call just a little bit. I never like running the option into the short side of the field with so many bodies around. It's really tough. High premium on execution in this offense. Your margin for error is almost nil when you run it to the short side of the field. The wide side of the field, far much more forgiving. But Frank Solich has done this. He's an old running back himself. He's probably trying to set something up, but I don't like that last call.
Fullback from 63 to 65 at Nebraska. Dorian Brown the setback. 3rd and 7.
Mishandled it.
Yeah, but he picked it up. Quick recovery, but T.J. McCollum stops him after a gain of about a yard, and that is it, maybe 2.
McCollum had the presence of mind to jump on it really quickly to limit that. Again, those types of plays sometimes, particularly when you've got run fits up front, you've got that are loose. You got 4 men rushing, 1 rusher taking an upfield charge that left a big hole in the middle of that front. But for number 6, McCollum being there, that play, as broken as it was, could have sprung for a lot more yards.
That wasn't an awful snap by Preece, 52. It was a little low. I think his head was looking up a little bit. Going for the coffin corner here on the punt for Anthrop, and it's beautifully covered by Ohio University. Outstanding work in coverage to get the ball down. 35-yard boot. Frozen beef hamburgers, the official hamburger of the NCAA. Here's Kylan Nelson, who's down on coverage and made, I thought, a very acrobatic play, Spencer, to keep the ball in bounds.
Great presence of mind, knowing where that end line is, and then the athleticism to bat that ball back in play. You're right.
David Blau is checked in for the first time at quarterback, as we had been told in the second quarter. The handoff is to Fuller, and he's up beyond the 5-yard line. Tony Porter, 54, making the tackle. He had an immediate impact on the game last week against Louisville, but then suffered those 2 vital interceptions in the second half.
They're going fast now, Timmy, with the run game.
Fuller, Carrier Fuller again, and he bursts out to the 28-yard line. It's Nelson with a saving tackle after a gain of 22.
Well, inside zone game here. Nice blocking up front. Again, open space. Get those balls and shoulders up vertical. Great run.
Blau loves, in contrast to Sindelar, he loves the tight ends and backs coming out of the backfield. Much more intermediate in his approach to the passing game. Fuller again. Well, when you're getting that much yardage on the ground with number 25, why not just hand it off, right, Spence?
Absolutely. Again, the inside running game is working, and when you get up to speed so quickly, those guys on that second level have a tough time bringing Fuller down. He runs with the bandit. He's physical.
Quick out. That's Anthrop. First down at midfield.
Well, Anthrop is unbelievable. I just love everything about this kid. When they put him in the slot or they move him in X, put him outside wide, he is a difference maker, making people miss in space. That's a quarterback's best friend there. Besides a running back, when you got balance, this young freshman is talented.
Richie Worship has checked in. He had a touchdown catch last week. DJ Knox is also in the backfield. Worship, 34, in that power back position. Leading the way as DJ Knox carries it off the left side.
Jeff Brom, much as he did against Louisville, on this particular drive doing a nice job of putting stress across the breadth and the width of the field. And on the Ohio Bobcat defense, this is how you keep them honest, make them defend everything.
Second down and 7. Anthrop in the slot to the bottom of your screen, along with Gregory Phillips. It's Knox. He ran right into the linebacker on the right-hand side and was stopped immediately by Evan Crouch, 47. Stood him up. Heck of a tackle there.
Staying committed to the run game. And again, Jeff Brom taking advantage of the pace and tempo to take his time and get the right play called.
Fuller back in, 3rd down and 5.
This is Jeff playing the game right here. This is the 12th man concept here with the offensive coordinator, head coach, is calling the play from the side.
Fuller's about 1 carry away from 100. He's got 9 carries for 97 yards. Nice. Blau to the tight end. It's Bryson Hopkins. Evan Crouch runs him down, but not before he gets inside the 10, 38 yards.
Hopkins found a soft spot in that corner route. You can see it. He just turns those shoulders and gets to the sideline and then does the smart job and protects that ball and turns his body so as to protect the football. Watch him slight, put that ball in the other hand, feels the pressure coming, and then he double clutches it. Ball security down deep after you make a great catch. Well, that's good football right there.
The junior leader and team captain David Blau, 2 for 2, and he's getting a lot of help from his ground game. 1st and goal. And we've got a flag, pre-snap. Should be false start.
Timeout.
Or timeout. No, it was a timeout. Purdue takes a late timeout.
It'll be a 30-second timeout.
Up against the play clock. Hopkins, a couple of receptions for 55 yards. We'll see what happens on the doorstep of Ohio U when we come back.
The new celebration rules are in place, and Pepsi is all for it. Antonio, what have you got in mind?
Standing quarterback, brother of Jeff, upstairs and helping with the quarterbacks. You can argue that he had a better career than even Jeff did. Both outstanding, and their dad's so proud coaching in Louisville. Brian was USA Today's 2003 Player of the Year. Look at that reach and a fumble as he reached for the goal line. That's Fuller. I believe they're going to say down at contact. And that's a break.
Was down at the 1 yard line.
That is a break. We need to take another look at that. Nice job of working in traffic. That left knees down looks like it to me.
I thought for a moment it might have been stripped, but it's a good call. That ball turned loose at the 1. We saw plenty of that on the reverse end with Louisville turning it over against Purdue at the 1 last week.
And if you thought Jeff Brown was upset at that previous play, if he'd have fumbled the ball down, he had a conniption.
It was a good call. Here's Fuller. He's in. Touchdown.
Inside power play. Kirk Barron, Shane Evans, a left guard. There's some changes up front. The inside running game working. You can see it's just man on man. Nice gaping hole inside. Fuller puts his head down on his shoulders and pushes it in for a score. Nice heavy running.
Youngster from Sugar Hill, Georgia, Lanier High School, 11 carries, 103 yards for number 25 tonight. Evans for the extra point. He and Dellinger share that responsibility, and he puts it through. 97 yards, how about that? 3:58 off the clock, and Tario Fuller having quite a long way. Julian Ross, number 10, Dorian Brown, 28, awaiting the kick. This is Ross, and he'll think better of it. Well, you don't have the wind advantage, but that's some leg that young man has. Evans can really boot it.
Now, in today's game, that's a weapon, and you got a guy that can, particularly if you have a return game that's dangerous, if you can keep him in the end zone, kneel it down, that's a win.
You know, we haven't mentioned Tim Albin. We touched on Burrows, the defensive coordinator, but Tim Albin, you don't see this a lot in the college game today. The consistency. This is the only trio of FBS coaches and coordinators together for 10-plus years. Solich, Jimmy Burrow, his defensive coordinator, and Tim Albin, who you know very well from your exploits at Oklahoma when he was at Nebraska, the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, from Woodward, Oklahoma, and again, they love him there. And Frank Solich, of course, all those years at Nebraska. The unceremonious departure is unfortunate, but again, he lands.
More than on his feet, too. A lot with the carry, and that's Bentley. Juwan, very active, the senior from the state of Maryland. There you see that consistency. And that says a lot about that man right there, Solich, and his loyalty. Sort of the way the game used to be, and we'd like to see more of, right, Spencer?
Absolutely. He's been to 4 different programs, 2 of them high school programs, and then 2 colleges, of course, all the time in Nebraska, then here at Ohio. That you just don't see that. He's 73 years old now. To have only been at 4 stops, that's pretty impressive.
Orlett again stopped in his tracks. Rourke remaining in at quarterback, and A.J. stopped by Jones, playing for Lorenzo Neal, who we will be seeing more of in the second half. He becomes eligible then. Look at this defensive line work.
You can see, I love the charge and the energy on that little starboard or port side charge to the left. Everybody moving in that direction. That just tells me if it was not pre-called, they're instinctively responding to what they see in the backfield, and they've got license to go get it. And there's Nick Holt. Boy, I'm telling you, he's wired.
Easy Chukwu there for Nick Holt. Very active, number 36 as well.
Nick Holt's been coaching 31 years, the defensive coordinator. He's dialing up pressure now. Backing out late.
Grandson of Buster Crabbe. Long distance for Poppy White, nothing doing. Yes, that's the Buster Crabbe that preceded Johnny Weissmuller. We're talking Tarzan here.
Yeah, you got to tell him who Tarzan was. He's got great athleticism and lineage. His wife was an outstanding basketball coach at Gonzaga, among other places.
By the way, if you look up Buster Crabbe, you will see a noticeable likeness to that man, Nick Holt.
Got that square jaw, man. He's got the gold chain working.
Buster was the the granddad on the mother's side of the family. Anthrop awaits the punt from Fargus. Fair catch called at the 37-yard line. Can you do the Carol Burnett Tarzan? I didn't think so. 42-yard boot. Timeout here in West Lafayette. 17-7 our score. Jim Brando, Spencer Tillman, Holly Saunders with you on this Friday night occasion. First Friday night Big Ten affair on FS1 this season. West Lafayette, Indiana. The Boilermakers leading the Bobcats of Ohio University. DJ Knox the setback. Blau remains the quarterback of the 2-quarterback system. We trick action here. looking long and settling short, and it's Cole Herdman. And why not? The big tight end will get in. That was some check down, Spencer.
It was a check down, and Tim, from the side up here, what you could see was the set of the offensive line as if they were setting up. You knew something. If it wasn't a run, that it was some type of play where they knew they had to shore up protection. I knew they were up to something. Tight end goes down the field, does a nice job of getting open. Didn't have to work too hard. Outstanding call, very aggressive on early down.
Now, the strength of this offense is the tight end position. Herdman and Bryson Hopkins, both very athletic. Not just your basic blocking tight ends. And David Blau, the young leader who's turned it over a few times, had some magic right there.
Came from a debit card.
To sell it up front, executing the pitch back, and again the second back to the quarterback. Herdman is already downfield and has found that open space. All he has to do is seat that ball properly, catch it. There's a lot of water in between that, but that's one of the longest catches you've got to make when there's no defender around you. And he pays it off with the dive in the end zone.
Number 10, Phillips, was the primary player running the post, and you saw him come into the screen late. But what a great check down. Veteran move by an outstanding quarterback, Blau. And there's the kick. Ross will once again think better of it. By the way, Herdman's catch, the 62-yarder, is the first of this game, and that means he now has a reception in 19 straight games. Only Jalen Samuels of North Carolina State has more. So he is an effective go-to guy in this Purdue offense without question.
Well, I think the key to Jeff Brom's system is to be able to utilize all positions that are integral to his success: tight ends, receivers, and running backs. He told us in the meeting what constitutes balance for them is not an equal amount of pass plays or run plays. It's being able to do whatever we need to do to succeed, given what the defense is trying to take away from us. And he has all the weapons, and we just demonstrated, or Cole Herdman just demonstrated his prowess at the tight end spot.
Any thoughts that maybe Purdue, after that tough loss in Indianapolis in a short week, might come out a little flat against a MAC opponent? You can forget that. A.J. Ouellette remains in the backfield. And Rourke hands it ahead. About a yard, and that is all. Nothing doing really up against that forward wall of Purdue. The Boilers getting a lot of help from linebacker T.J. McCollum tonight. Bentley is always effective.
It's not going to get much easier for the Bobcats when Lorenzo Neal, serving the back half of that suspension from last week, is back in the second half. He is a beast up front. At 6'2", 345 pounds, he plays a zero technique perfectly. Built for it.
9 carries for 9 yards for Ouellette, their leading rusher. Now Rourke decides to take it himself. Stopped a yard shy, and a big hit that time. McCollum and Bentley collaborate.
And he didn't have to take that hit. Ouellette was the check down route. He should have gotten that ball out. And again, sometimes you get greedy just because you can run. Seats it, takes 2 unnecessary shots, in my opinion. I think Ouellette to his left was there, number 45. Check that ball down to your running back. Let him take that punishment.
3rd down and a yard to go. Option wide, a late pitch to Ouellette. He's got a 1st down. Run out by McCollum.
Got about as much as he possibly could on the option play to the wide side of the field. The whole key is to pressure and push to this point, get in his face, and then deal it. Ouellette on the outside gets an extra 4 yards because of the way the quarterback executed the option. A lot of times quarterbacks deal that pitch to the runner 4, maybe 3 yards away, and they take away the option. The defender can cover both the runner and the quarterback. In this particular case, the quarterback took the first option away.
On 1st down, Ouellette. He gets more yards on this carry than he had on the first 9, and now fumbles it. It's loose, and the Boilers have it. Easy Chuku on top of it. He had a fumble recovery last week, number 36.
Well, last week, Olet, 63 yards on 12 carries, out last year. But, boy, you'd never expect the team leader, a captain of a couple of years ago, to fumble the ball and put it on the ground. Can ill afford to do it. He's got the ball sitting, but it's going to be a collar. If they see that, it's coming out. That ball is going to be a personal foul.
That's supposed to be like conduct. An Ohio State coach. That's 15-yard penalty.
Navon Mosley.
And that is his first.
Got it out of there, 27.
Conduct. Follow the game.
All right, now this is the rule about sideline etiquette, but that horse collar occurred before the play ended. Dean Blandino, help us out here. I think there's cause for concern along that Ohio University sideline.
Yeah, there was a grab of the collar, but I didn't see him pull the runner toward the ground, and that's the key. There's a slight grab, but he has to pull that runner toward the ground. You can see there's a slight delay, and then he lets go of the collar.
Well, that's close, but I understand where you're coming from. It's got to be a full bring down, and wasn't. I'm glad you're here. Here comes Wright. Terry Wright the other way. But that's really what brought on the 15-yard penalty from the normally subdued Frank Solich. He was clearly upset about it, and you can't come off that sideline 2 steps in, and it's 15 yards this season.
Frank's obviously not happy about it, but I want to hear more from Dean on that, because there some discretion at the call, because his hand does come off of that collar, and it's clear that he doesn't pull him down. Is there any discretion whatsoever there?
There is discretion on the official's part, but he does have to pull him down toward the ground.
Hopkins, big tight end. Well, he and Herdman are a load at that position. Hagan, number 2, the safety, bringing him down. I get your point, Spencer. At first glance, you got to think anytime there's a collar of any kind, there's nowhere to go but down. But apparently you've got to be more vociferous, and it has to be a takedown. And pulling him back, that's the big key.
Well,
so the discretion does come into play.
Purdue, meantime, has been able to take down this Bobcat defense with their tight ends working the middle of the field.
Purdue tight ends very active. Here's Fuller. Down to about the 7-yard line. Think about the tight end position now between Hopkins and Herdman, Spence. They've got 4 receptions, 144 yards of offense out of that position tonight.
Well, the back end is supposed to be the strength of the Bobcat defense, the safeties, but to this point, that's where they've been exploited, in the middle of the field. Some of that can be attributed to the coverage that you play. The other part of it is that you've just been putting stress on the entire defensive unit, and the numbers game just catch up with you after a while.
Dario Fuller already over 100 yards, the most he's ever had as a Boilermaker. They fake the pitch to him. Oh, they go back to the tight end. Why not? It's Hopkins. And he stopped right at the 5-yard line. Evan Crouch did not bite, the junior from Youngstown, Ohio.
That's what you call playing with leverage and discipline there. They brought the tight end and just reversed him back out after a little false step inside. Try to get a little easy touchdown off of misdirection.
3rd down from the 4. Can get a first down without benefit of a touchdown. Blitz up the middle. Blau in trouble's got to get rid of it. And he does. Evan Crouch with the pressure. He was outside the tackle box and wisely got rid of it.
Foul for a touch of the ground. The quarterback was outside the pocket, and the ball went past the line of scrimmage.
So you hear the referee giving the explanation.
Well, it was well-timed pressure. You can see up the middle, the pressure was coming from the outside. Now does a great job of avoiding it initially. Just too many Bobcat jerseys around him. He does the wise thing and throws the ball away.
The key there is to make sure you throw it past the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's intentional grounding. Now a 22-yard try for J.D. Dellinger. Gee, let's see what's coming up on the halftime show. Back to Los Angeles and the always versatile Rob Stone.
Coming up on the State Farm halftime, Mason Rudolph, an 11th-ranked Oklahoma State, looking to put on a display in Mobile against South Alabama. Plus, the inspiring story of USC long snapper Jake Olson, who sat down this week with our Jenny Taft. Tim, Spencer, back to you guys.
Thank you, Rob. That was an inspiring story, no question, and something only that you can see in sport, and particularly, Spence, college sports?
Well, college sports, you know, the tradition of it is the currency of the game, but the people is what makes that currency. And again, there are so many great stories, so many great narratives that makes this phenomenal game that we love, and we get the chance to play, be here. This is outstanding. Friday night, man.
Oh, man, and we get to go home and watch that smorgasbord we've got on Saturday. There'll be some tailgating at Chateau Brando, I'll tell you that, come tomorrow. A couple of great ones on Fox. Nebraska and Oregon. Tanner Lee will be on display in Eugene.
Got my Sooners.
Yeah, and they're playing a little bit later in the evening. But of course, the big one on Fox is USC and Stanford. Big time college football all day and night. Happy to be with you on a Friday night here. How good is that kick? And he's done that both with and without wind advantage.
Well, again, we called it a weapon, and it is that. If you've got a great return man, you basically negate his opportunity to affect the game. Just take it out of his hands.
Tell you this about Ohio University, and you're going to see they will not stop running their stuff. The same discipline that Frank Solich and Tim Albin preach from an offensive standpoint will continue. You know what's coming, but can you consistently stop it? That's the question whenever you're playing against that man's team.
He's just so consistent. You know, since he's been here since 2005, had only one losing season during that whole 13-year tenure.
19 seasons overall. Looping it incomplete this time, intended for Cameron Odom, well over his head. Nathan Rourke stepped into the game after 3 series for Quentin Maxwell did not go well. That turnover committed by Ouellette, huge, because you got a feeling that Ohio University was set to get something going. And after that, the big play with the gadget and the check down to Herdman for the touchdown for Purdue.
I just don't think the culture is such that they're made and built to play fast, which puts them at a disadvantage if you're down.
It does. Brown stopped by McCollum. Gain of 2. It looks like we're going to get a timeout. We do, by the Boilermakers. They want to get it back.
Timeout. Purdue, second charge, timeout at the half. 30-second timeout.
They want to get the football back. Force that man into something. Coming up, the State Farm FS1 College Football Halftime Show. Rob Stone touched on it a little earlier.
Reset the game clock at 4-0.
Matt Leinart, Rob, and Robert Smith back in Los Angeles.
Thank you.
As we look at Jeff Brom here, you know, Tim, so many creative formations in that last series in particular. A couple of plays didn't get off because of some issues on the sideline and communicating, but he spent 7 seasons as a quarterback in the NFL with 6 different teams. And you say, well, that's a journeyman kind of deal, but I'm telling you, you're exposed to a lot of great coaches during that time period, and you're able to pick up stuff and put it in your toolbox, and you bring it to bear in a situation like this where you've got great support from administration, great fans, excited to be a part, winning culture, and a winning coach.
I love the creative tension that he has with his program. I think those 2 words really work well together in the college game. Expectations are great, but he deals with each individual the way they should be dealt with as individuals. Brown. Did he put it on the ground again? He did. And it's picked up by Purdue. Boilers have got it. Jalen Robinson, the senior from Schererville, comes away with it.
Well, Galen's about 6'1", 283 pounds, a junior. Gets that helmet in there and pops it right on it. Back in the old days, they used to coaches to put that hat on the ball. We don't do that anymore, but I'm telling you, that's what happens when you don't have 3 points of pressure on the top of that ball and on the side, and your hand cover the outside.
Well, for our friend Rob Stone, who loves soccer, that was a header and a recovery. He got the ball loose with his headgear, punching it out, and then recovered it. And you know, Brom's got enough of Petrino in him on first down.
He's going to take a shot.
Yeah, he may go deep right here.
He may not be as aggressive on first down as Bobby, but he's going to go for it.
Yep. Hello, how do you do? Touchdown! Mahongo.
Anthony Mahongo, you want to catch him on their heels? It almost looked like a four-cross look. Those DBs were almost at the same level, and he finds a soft spot in that coverage. Mahongo catches it on the big end and pays it off. Blau with the picks last week, staying clear of him, atoning tonight at home under the lights.
Well, that atones for the drop that he had a little earlier. There were 3 big drops early, but they have atoned in big ways. Evans with the extra point. Just like that, it's 34-7. 4 straight Purdue scores. That are huge. That Jeff Brom's arrival here might likely be the greatest addition to a head coaching position at a Power 5 school anywhere in 2017.
Well, there were some good hires, maybe not initially that most people would think down in Texas. Maryland got them pretty good coming out, but Tom Herman was one of the hot hires that was out there, but I guarantee you at this point, Jeff Brom is right up there with him. Just a smart coach.
A lot of people thought he could have waited at Western Kentucky for a more high-profile gig than this, but Mike Bobinski, the athletic director and the president of this university, decided to make an investment, and right now it's paying dividends. 34-7 our score at the break. Right now, let's send you to Rob Stone in Los Angeles. Welcome you back to Ross-Ade Stadium in West Lafayette. The passing game and the ground game, super combination for a 359 total. And you look at that turnover stat, that's huge too. And Spencer Tillman, both the Purdue quarterbacks have been as advertised by Jeff Brom.
Well, Elijah Sindelar got this start on the strength of his performance last week in a losing effort. And he did play, got a touchdown through those tight ends. That was a reoccurring theme, but David Blau is the guy that lit it up. They opened the playbook a little bit. They went to the trickeration. They found their tight ends off and down the field, whether it's on the boundary or in the middle of the field. He was laser-like coming off the first initial read to find another tight end option in the middle. David Blau, who threw 2 interceptions last week, reversing the trend today, showing that he is in a competition battle and he's fending in a big time.
There they are, and they'll await their turn for Coach Brom. And right now, Julian Ross and Kylan Nelson await the kick from Evans. Just yet another touchback. And let's go down to Holly Saunders, see what she found out from the coaches.
Yes, and talking with the coaches at halftime, Tim, it was very clear. Coach Brom said that he does not want his team looking at the scoreboard. He told them last game against Louisville, they came out in the second half, they lost the game. Do not look at the scoreboard. He also said that he couldn't be any prouder of what his defense is doing right now and their confidence. He said he really took them out of their element, took Ohio out of their element, which is running the ball, and that takes me right into what Coach Solich said. He said, we have to throw the ball. We have no run game right now. We have nothing on the ground. It's non-existent. We have to throw the ball in the second half.
That's not good news because of the way their offense shakes out. It's usually run first, then throw. And they go to Poppy White right out of the gates. Great call by Holly. Having talked moments ago with Solich, they go right to the air, and Poppy White better be big if they're to make a move in the second half.
Yeah, that was courtesy, though, a mistake. Navon Mosley, number 27, the free safety, busted an assignment. He stacked on top of his teammate, and on this first play, made the Bobcats look good.
From the 47 of Purdue after a first down, gain of 28. Rourke. That ball is tipped. Looking on the crossing pattern. But it was tipped into the air by Jawan Bentley.
Jawan Bentley got his hand up and does a nice job of understanding where the ball is in flight. A lot of times if you're not rushing and you can't affect the quarterback, there are all sorts of ways you can affect the quarterback. Jumping, getting your hands up.
He was trying to get it to Andrew Meyer, the redshirt junior, before the ball was tipped by number 4. 2nd and 10. Ross is the setback, now in motion. He swings it out to him. Pretty good cutback, gets inside the Purdue 40 down to the 38-yard line.
Well-designed play to get an isolation man-on-man matchup. 2 receivers to the wide side of the field. Getting the ball in the hands of a nice, crafty runner in motion is a way to attack this defense.
Gain of 9. Get it to your guy with open gates and space.
Yes, sir.
One more time, this time to the wide side of the field, and it's White. He'll have the first down, but little more. Gain of 3.
Well, the last couple of plays, Coach Holt's defense has been caught, not in alignment or ready to cover. And when you make second half adjustments, you typically are going to be behind. You may get caught, but they better make sure they shore up this discernment of what's going on the offensive side. He's been coaching for 31 years, but the frustration showing right now in this early series in the second half.
You know the Bobcats need to score here early, get a little momentum their way. That pass on the curl, caught by Meyer. He's got it inside the 20 to the 16.
You talk about a clinic first half adjustments. You can see the switch rack right here underneath. It's just a little pivot route underneath. Versus zone, it's basically finding grass. After you seat that ball properly, there are windows that you're looking for. Nice pitch and catch to advance the ball down the field. Got the Purdue Boilermakers on their heels now, Timmy.
Jacob Thieneman made the tackle. That was a 19-yard gain. Ross remains the setback. Poppy White in the slot to the top of your screen. And it's Ross inside the 15 to the 14. McCollum pushing him back. Those linebackers have been really active tonight. Bailey, Bentley, McCollum. But I also think Kewan Jones has played large for Lorenzo Neal not being available. Remember, he is eligible to play in this second half. After the targeting call a week ago against Louisville, but he is not out there with this big lead. I'm not surprised. Play fake. Rourke's pass is caught. It's Meyer again. That's a first down inside the 5 at the 3.
Well, they really worked the choice route here downside. When you got two receivers out there, the little outcut, the pivot, and the turn, it's really tough to defend when you're playing with a 10-yard cushion. You can see the ball is thrown on the mark. Rourke does a fantastic job. He's the pitcher of these two quarterback system that they have, and they're working the inside run game now.
Ross, maybe a half yard or a yard, stopped by Bentley. Well, this has been a textbook drive.
Yeah, it really has been nice. This is what you need to do to constitute an adjustment. Rourke is orchestrating this along with the coaches who have made this adjustment. A nice example of how you balance, run, pass, not vertical, but stretching the ball down the field when you can.
Let's see, that score in the UCLA Texas A&M game got to where? I believe it was 44 to 10.
Yeah,
late third quarter.
A lead is never safe.
It's never safe in the college game. Rourke, it's wide open for him. Beautiful read, but boy, what a convergence. That's Marcus Bailey. But I think Rourke actually relaxed a little, and all of a sudden, what looked to be wide open was no longer wide open.
This is about Bailey on the outside, number 21, playing and shedding off the would-be blocker to get outside. Number 21, turn that play back inside. I don't know if the quarterback gave up or not. It was just the speed of number 21, Marcus Bailey, that got to that edge, and he would not be outflanked. That's great football, great discipline.
That green grass of home went away very quickly. Ross the setback. 3rd and goal. 10th play of the drive, and it's Ross, and it's touchdown. That is an example of a well-coached football team. They are not down and out, not under Frank Solich's watch.
Well, you knew that the indicator was going to be fine on the inside zone play. A nice tag up front. All of those guys, Darrell Wood, Jared McCray, the right tackle, all of them got tremendous push on the power play on the right side. Just a little power action. Push the ball down the field for a score. That's a great recovery.
Service with the extra point. 34 to 14. 6 passes, 4 rushes. Holly Saunders got it from the coach. He was right.
I see trees of green.
Ron Catlett and DJ Knox are deep. The Bobcats come out with an outstanding drive. 6 straight passes of what was a 10-play drive. 71 yards, and then the touchdown for Ross. And here's Catlett dropping it, picking it up, and lunges forward to about the 15-yard line. So an 8-yard return after the bobble. Sometimes think it's better to put it in the form of a question, right? And who is
coming out?
Elijah saying, It is going to be David Blau. Hey, I got it.
You got it, Timmy.
And those numbers really tell it all. 4 straight drives after he came into the game. He was the hot hand, but in Sindelar's case, he had some drops. 3 drops that thwarted opportunities for him early in the game. Fuller's in the backfield. He's already rushed for over 100. He will add to that number with that one off the right side. Cody Grillio, number 40. That man made the stop.
Yeah, the old Edgerton James style. Slow to, fast through. Patience, a lot of water in there to run. He finds the void. Nice.
Just shy of the 29-yard line, 1st and 10. Mahungu, who has a touchdown reception, is flanked to the top of your screen. Anthrop is in the slot. Fuller gets about a yard after contact. And that's it. It's Chad Moore, number 38, making the stop.
Tim, and I think also the decision to go with Blau again, the second half is in part managing a situation where he's able to do it. Fuller, the fullback, on that last play has been running heavy, over 100 yards.
120 and counting. And there's Anthrop, who was the star of Saturday night in Indianapolis. He has a really big reception. He also had an unfortunate drop after a ball was tipped early in the game. But tonight has belonged really from a ground game standpoint. Spencer, they were able to outrush their total night at Lucas Oil Stadium in their opening drive of the game.
I think that's why they were able to mount 24 unanswered points, because they achieved a modicum of balance that they weren't able to do against Louisville.
3rd and 2. Anthrop now flanked in the slot right. Blau with an option look, and it's going to be close, very close. I think he's going to be a little shy.
Yeah, he probably should have dealt that ball, because again, you had a perimeter blocker on the outside in the back.
Oh, they gave it to him. Wow, yeah. That's a great spot.
That was a great spot, but you probably should have dealt that ball on the perimeter.
Oh boy, a better than great spot. Yikes! That was an ultimate right.
Get that ball off.
Yeah, that was the ultimate right foot spot.
They're gonna look at that. Yeah, they're gonna look at that.
Well, that was more than just your average right foot spot. Always.
Moving on the field is the runner. The previous play is under further review.
Okay, left foot spot versus right foot spot. Officials, Dean, you can help me out. I've been saying for years, you get a right foot spot, it's generally good, especially if the linesman's coming from the lower part of your screen. It looked to me like he was a full yard away. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, he's clearly short. You can see the left knee is down. He had to get to the 39, and it looks like he's about a yard short. And so they're going to move this back and make it 4th down.
All right, if you want to call me out for the right foot, left foot thing, go ahead.
No, the right foot, left, that makes sense. You know, you get that foot that's farther downfield. That's going to be a better spot than that foot that's going the other way.
See, Spencer?
Hey,
and you thought that was a myth all these years.
That's good. That's good.
All right, we touched on this. I don't think I've seen a spot, when reviewed, overturned until the UCLA Texas A&M game the other night, when Bond, the quarterback's elbow, was clearly down, and our cart camera had it right down the line. It's very difficult, is it not, if there is any angle to the shot that the replay officials are looking at?
It is difficult. It's one of the more difficult plays to overturn because of the camera angles. If you don't have a look right down the line, when it's very close, it's tough to overturn. This one, it's not that close, so they should overturn this. And you can see they're writing down the new spot here, so they're gonna flip this.
Ken Kester is our replay official, and so for everyone to know, we don't have a cart camera here because of the stadium.
But our crew got a great angle shot at this. So this is fantastic.
But you can see that it's from the backside of the line of scrimmage. All right, that's the best angle we've got. But I do think it is indisputable evidence. But sometimes when there's an angle involved, Dean, that replay official is going to hide behind the definition, indisputable video evidence, right?
It has to be clear and obvious, and sometimes the angle will play. It'll make it look like the runner's actually further downfield when the camera angle is from behind where he is. But again, this one is pretty clear cut.
We had a play in the Louisville game, Spencer, you might recall, when it was clear to you, very clear to you, that Lamar Jackson had stepped out about a half yard to a yard behind the line, but we did not have that.
Didn't have the angle.
Clear-cut angle. That's right.
Yeah.
All right, let's listen to our referee, Luke Richmond.
At the runner was short on the line to gain. It'll be 4th and 1 on the 38-yard line.
That's only the second time that I've ever seen a spot overturned because of video evidence, and both of them have been on the Fox family of networks. I'm just saying.
That's a nice trivia question there. That's good.
Well, I mean,
it's
we're
early, though.
A network that started with football. Without football, right, there is no Fox.
Absolutely.
They're apparently going to go for it on 4th and a yard, and it is a full yard. Terrio Fuller is the setback. That's Phillips in motion. Looks like he's got it. Blau just burrows under for the first down. Got 2 on the play.
Gutsy call, but I think a wise call. Again, just a 4-man front. Everybody is soft up front. They're stemming. Really no integrity in that defensive effort there. You had the right tackle actually stunning upfield, and then the guy who was opposite him going the opposite direction, creating a void in the front.
1st and 10 from the 40. Phillips and Anthrop are flanked to the bottom of your screen. Fuller, great penetration that time by Crouch, 47. The junior linebacker. And that's a loss, a significant loss of about 3.
Boy, Evan Crouch just came in there hell-bent for election, man. He did a great job of reading and reacting. You can see him shoot that gap right there, getting a good football position with his legs underneath him. He squats on him and makes a form tackle. Look at him gather himself, make a sure tackle in traffic until his battery mates can come and help him pay it off.
Aloese was also there, 92, with some penetration too. And here's Blau for Mohangu. That's a first down.
Well, Brad Ellis, the field corner, Kylan Nelson, number 23, all of those guys back there have been struggling with this coverage. It's a nice outcut. Mohangu turns Ellis around. He spins out of that turn. He cannot recover fast enough to make a play on the ball.
Now at the 43 of the Bobcats, 1st and 10. Just about every part of the playbook is open to Blau now, isn't it?
Absolutely. They're in the more traditional formation now, and what we call a pro formation with a slot and 2 wide receivers. They can do anything they want to.
Fuller bouncing off Bobcats. Terrio, another first down. Nelson runs him out. Boy, this kid has been resourceful tonight. 23 yards on this run.
Well, he really has. One of his battery mates, Markel Jones, has been out injured, so somebody had to step up. And he's done it in spades tonight, running effectively. But I think the point that you made, Tim, the effectiveness of this offensive scheme gives them the total latitude to run everything in their arsenal. The playbook is wide open now.
How about that mouth guard, huh? That's a pump fake.
Look at the protection.
Blau with plenty of time. Markers fly behind him. I think we may have a hold as he takes himself out of bounds at the 11-yard line.
Holding.
78.
Offense. Number 78. 10-yard replay, first down.
That's Grant Hermans, the redshirt freshman from Albuquerque, Rio Rancho High School. High side of the screen here.
Well, you can see him right here, the holding on the outside. Hermans does a nice job at that left tackle position. It's tough, but when the quarterback breaks containment and gets outside, that lineman does not have eyes in the back of his head. He doesn't know. So when that defender disengages from him, he thinks he's missing a block, so he's tending to hold on. The official's going to catch that every time.
DJ Knox is coming to the backfield now. 1st and 20 over the middle. The tight end. It's Herdman again. Do I see a little yellow hanky? I believe I do. Hold everything. Looks like we have offside.
Yeah. Defense number 96. That penalty decline. The result of the play is the first down.
Kevin Robbins, the guilty party, but boy, this play, the tight ends have been open all night, Spencer.
Yeah, they have been, whether it's not, it's up the field on the perimeter versus too deep in the middle of the field or on those high-low crossing routes. They have been open for the picking.
Knox remains in the backfield. That's Anthrop in motion, and he gets it. There's the freshman sensation. Touchdown.
Once again, the creativity of Jeff Brom, taking the young freshman, has command. They get the ball to him in motion. You can see the short motion here is designed intentionally just to get outside, to fool the rush. The only person that's responsible for him is the safety. He's got to come high out of that hole. Too much water in between that, and the young freshman goes in and scores and makes him pay for the soft coverage.
Only one big-time Division I school offered him Jackson Anthrop Ascali. And it was right here at home. We had a chance to visit with that young man. He's a special kid. Timeout. The Boilermakers answer and push the lead back to 27.
Yeah, Tim, sorry, couldn't hear you there. Just picked up that last part of it, and I found a very famous face, Coach Les Miles, and this is no mistake. You're now part of our Fox Sports family. Welcome aboard. How is it being on this side of the ball?
It's been a lot of fun. I enjoy being down the sideline, too. I mean, you get a feel for the game, the temperature, the crowd. And working up there with Rando and Tillman, it's been a lot of fun.
Well, you're like the mayor around here. Everybody wants to see your ring, and everybody wants to talk to you.
It's very, look at this. How about these seats? Seriously. Are you kidding me? I mean, I hope I know you were getting a dead shot. It's college football, and it's awfully important.
Yeah, talk to us about the game so far. What do you think?
I think Jeff Brom's done a great job making decisions. I think OU was playing sloppy, turned the ball over, and they don't turn the ball over. And then now in the second half, they come out and get 7, and Brom goes right for the jugular and throws the double pass and takes it back. And so it's really been a decent game. If there's some finish left, if Purdue finishes this game, make this game really stand out.
And you had a little theory. We were talking off camera about both the quarterbacks and the little competition they have going on at Purdue for that starting position. You thought it was a good thing?
I had 2 quarterbacks the year we won the national championship that played pretty well. There was one starter, but one got hurt. He got hurt, and so we had to play the second team quarterback in and out the rest of the year, and really made a difference. We won the conference championship with the second team quarterback. So yeah, at times 2 quarterbacks work. In other places, in other times, certainly the one quarterback, the guy that's the best, he deserves to take all the snaps.
Hey, Holly, he's a Michigan man. He played in this stadium once, and he's been up here with Tillman and yours truly for a half, and now down with you. What do you think? Do you think maybe he's ready for a little rehearsal for next week in Lincoln, Nebraska? What do you
I was going to have him taste the grass, but yeah, I think he's already ready to head up there with you guys.
Okay.
Everybody's a little bored with you, Tim. Maybe you and Spencer a little bit. You can add some flavor. You ready to head up to the booth?
No, I'm headed up the booth. You bet.
Perfect. All right. Les, thanks for the time.
My pleasure.
That's the hat with that one.
Well,
but he's still a smooth operator.
He is smooth, man. I'm telling you, and he knows the game. He's up here in the first half. Most people didn't know it. We were holding it as a surprise, but he was jotting down all sorts of things about inside leverage and just giving an indicator of how deep his knowledge is and what he's going to bring to Fox.
All right, now 3rd down and 6. Julian Ross is in the backfield. The Ohio University Bobcats trying to answer now and stay within distance. And a loop now for the receiver, Meyer, and it's knocked away. Let's look and see if there's a hanky. There's not. Hunt came in a little bit late. Did appear to be some contact. Jousting is allowed, though.
Hunt got away with one here again because he closes and he doesn't identify where the ball is.
Yeah.
He actually bumps into the receiver there, and I'm telling you, he does try to locate it with the eyes, but I don't think he was under enough control to sell to me that he had rights to that ball.
I'm with you there. But he did turn his head, and maybe that was the reason they decided not to call it. That is a discretionary call. Interference, offensive, defensive, or just let it go. Game in and game out in the college game. What defines interference is always a question. One that every player has to adapt to. Look at that again.
Oh, that's nice.
One more time, Kylan Nelson down there to catch it in midair. And Purdue will be backed up to their 4-yard line after the 34-yard boot. We'll be back.
Not every rivalry is a fair fight.
They say sometimes you'll remember a night in September. Terry Fuller certainly will. First 5 games, those are the numbers amassed, and look at tonight, Spencer. Amazing.
Absolutely amazing. Here's a guy, I love these great narratives and stories. Ran for over 1,000 yards twice in high school, but since that time, he appeared in just 10 games as a reserve last season. Didn't play at all in 2015, and tonight he's having a career-type night.
Richie Worship is coming to the game. Big, brawny back as they try to get outside the 5, and he does. To the 9, almost the 10-yard line on that carry.
No, Fuller had kind of an indication last week against Louisville. 8 carries for 29 yards. Actually caught the ball well 3 times as well. Not for a lot of yardage, but it showed the versatility that you're looking for.
Worship with a gain of 6. Second down and 4. Blau remains the quarterback. What a night he's had since coming in relief of Elijah Zindelar. Worship this time tripped up. Nice work that time by Cunningham. Grant Cunningham, the free safety, cutting through there on what was in effect a run blitz.
Like Richie Worship, though, man. He had the score last week again in the end zone via the catch, but just showing you his versatility. Not only can he score, but if you're trying to protect the lead, number 34 is the guy you want to hand it to. He's stout, well-built, heavy, runs hard, and's got decent speed.
Third down and 1. Here he goes again. And we see the power part of his game.
Yeah, that's good right there now.
He carried about 3 Bobcats with him. Grillo, the first to get there, the Northwestern transfer, redshirt senior from Clayton, Illinois.
Now, he was a little bit heavier, was Worship last year, about 260. He's saying he's about 245 right now.
Yeah.
He's trimmed down just a little bit, but he still runs heavy.
Yeah, this is a young man, Grillo, originally walked on and earned a scholarship. A lot of guys have done that in their careers. First and 10. Brian Langford Johnson in the backfield, number 37. Beautiful run. He launched himself into the air. Brad Ellis, number 3, undercut him, but it's enough for the first down, it appears.
Yeah, and you know Tony Porter, number 54, arm tackle. Just goes to show you when you're running on a stretch play and you're running with pad level, a bigger guy, you can make him miss because the physics works against them. Tony Porter just found out on that play. Arm tackle, grasping for air.
From the 30, Isaac Zico is the wide receiver to the bottom of your screen. Langford Johnson remains the tailback. Out of the shotgun, quick pass, and it's caught. That's Terry Wright. Youngster from Coffeyville Community College. Hails from Memphis, Tennessee, making that grab.
Kylan Nelson there at the free safety position, number 23. Playing some nice coverage, but again, that ball was well thrown despite pressure off the edge. There's Nelson there. He's a pretty good back, defensive back. Anchors this mature secondary.
Second down and 7. Blau with plenty of time now. It's flushed from the pocket, and he does manage to get to the line of scrimmage after that pressure coming off the edge. The linebacker, Will Evans, 51, was closing quickly. They're going to actually give them a sack on that, about a loss of a half yard or so.
It was just a 4-man
in there too.
Yeah, it was just a 4-man rush, but Blau was waiting on that slow developing deep crossing route. It takes about 15-yard break, but it's going to take protection and time, particularly the naked out. You got to get your feet planted to throw that play. A lot of things got to go right to execute that play.
Third down and a little more than 10 yards.
The late blitzer.
Flushed, and that pass is thrown low, and boy, Chad Moore almost came up with that ball. It was intended for Bryson Hopkins, the tight end. And a punt formation coming up for Purdue.
Chad Moore at that Sam linebacker position was blitzing late, part of that pressure package there. And as an old saying, pressure will make a pipe bust, man, where I'm from, and that he'll do it every time.
Poppy White, an outstanding return man to go along with their leading receiver. Seminole, Oklahoma. That must bring back a lot of memories to you, Spencer.
Yep.
Where the fair catch is called here inside the 20 at about the 17-yard line. Well, that's the end of the third. We're going to be joined by our newest member of the Fox family when we come back in college football. The Hat without one, but he does have a microphone after this.
Is your personal info
in the right direction? I mean, you know, I do realize that this is not a window, and that I can't lean on it. So,
well, you've been scratching up more details here. You've got more notes than that first half. Great
you know
stuff.
What? You understand something? We have a view of a special game.
First down. There's Rourke showing you his running ability there. Now, he went down at the 20 and took a hit from McCollum, but he wasn't completely down, and he was trying to gain yardage. He gets it out to the 20-yard line, so a gain of 3. He did get him in the helmet here. Take a look at this. Well, he got it with the hand
but
a little
hands
bit.
work too. You're not allowed to come to the head with your hand, your shoulder, or your helmet.
They could have taken a look at that.
I'm surprised they didn't.
They could have taken a look, no question. Pressure. That's Lorenzo Neal. He missed him. He's still not down. And how about the stick-to-itiveness of Nathan? That's just beautiful running by Rourke. Lorenzo Neal, who had him collared initially, stayed to it as well and made the tackle, number 9.
Well, Lorenzo Neal sighting. You can see him on the games and the deals and the looper around to the outside. The athleticism, coach.
And Rourke is making a statement too. He says, "Listen, I'm staying up. I'm going to give my team a chance to win with a little scramble."
That's good stuff.
One back spread formation.
3rd and 3. Quick slant, and it's caught by Poppy White out to the 33. Les, I'd love to get your thoughts on what you've seen thus far tonight from both of these teams with 2 quarterbacks. You've done that before. Your thoughts on how both coaches have handled 2 quarterback systems?
You know, both guys have different thoughts. You know, it was always, for me, I wanted to have the ability to have a mobile quarterback and a guy that can put the ball in the air. And, you know, making the decision between the two sometimes wasn't fruitful for my team.
Yeah. There you go. Once again, it's Julian Ross. He's ahead for a first down, shoved out at the 44-yard line. That's DeJuan Hunt, number 2, that took him out, the youngster from Miami Central.
Brennan Cope did a nice job, number 85 downfield of blocking as well. You know, anytime you see a play like this, a guy gets broken down. Look at number 85 downfield, escorting, trying to get some extra yardage. That's where you know those pencil neck receivers out there mean business, boy, when they're willing to lock up with you.
There isn't any question.
That's right.
Big plays become bigger plays when receivers block.
Yes, sir.
1st and 10. There's the quick out. Cameron Odom, first time we've called his number tonight. And this is a young man that last week against Hampton had 4 catches for 75 yards, 1 for 48.
Well, that's a big throw. That's a next level type throw, man. It's a lot of water, a lot of grass in between their 3 bodies, opposite color to make that throw. You got to have a laser, you got to have a big arm, you got to have confidence to call that play.
He made a nice throw. That ball got there plenty of time.
First down. 12 and change remaining. Purdue in command. But Ohio University trying to make a game of it here with this drive. They need to get something on the scoreboard as Ross is stopped in his tracks. Jawan Bentley again, number 4. It's always nice to have a 2-time captain middle linebacker, isn't it, Coach?
Yeah, when you have somebody in the middle of your defense ready to play, show toughness and make those calls, it makes a big difference.
This Bobcat option game is really interesting to me. Rourke is the runner, and on that read, I'm not quite sure what he was reading, but everything about that one said you need to pull that one and take it to the edge.
2nd and 9. Pressure coming up the middle, and this one is looped long and just over the outstretched arms of Brendan Cope.
That would have been a big play, something that the Bobcats need right now. You know, that piece, every time you disconnect, you want to read that in, and you don't really know exactly what you say to him. Sometimes you say proximity, so like, for instance, his width, he may have been 5 yards wide. But if he turns his hips like in the option. If that read man turns his hips, you can go around him.
Yep.
3rd and 9. See the conversion rate, only 3 out of 12 tonight for the Bobcats.
Content to play pressure late here.
Here comes the blitz right up the gut. And the pass thrown on an out for what was a curl-in by Cameron Odom. So a little, I know there was pressure involved too, but it appeared there was some miscommunication on the route.
The double-A gaps here. There's the pressure from depth. And if you're running back, the last thing in the world you can do, Coach, you got to get your head up. You got to get your head up. You're not going to be able to block anybody with your head down. That'll get you an apple on a roadmap real quickly.
4th down now, 4th and 9. They got to go for it. Ross remains in the game. Poppy White, you'd think their go-to player up at the top of your screen in the slot is someone that Rourke may look to. Let's see. Pressure again. Nice. He's in all kinds of trouble. Down he goes. Danny Ezechukwu with the sack. He's already got a fumble recovery as well. Nothing easy about dealing with Ezechukwu.
Thank you for saying that.
You'd just call him easy, wouldn't you?
I'm just telling you.
I thought you would. Being pounded now, and a couple of more out there. So, but you can help. We've seen evidence of that already. On 2nd down, Ryan Langford Johnson again. Inside the 40 to the 39. Well, you think about where this team is going as Tyler Gullett, number 25, made the stop. This Purdue team now, after a really solid performance, Spencer, that we had in Lucas Oil Stadium, albeit in defeat to Louisville, and now they open their Jeff Brom era here at Ross Aid with an authoritative performance. As you see their 3rd answer at quarterback, Jared Sparks. This is the redshirt freshman, Les from Geismar, Louisiana. They got a little option RPO package for this guy that will make him even tougher to defend.
He's a legitimate dual threat quarterback. You can see he's going to run it on this first play. Look at the speed.
Yep.
To get to the outside.
Right on cue.
I like Brian Langford too. I mean, he has shown that you run hard, run with speed, and when you put a tailback in there, and you know this, if that tailback is physical enough to block as well as run it, now you make that quarterback an extra man that they can't account for.
That quarterback doesn't have to be a blocker for himself, and the numbers work in your favor. You're absolutely right. So a dual threat quarterback, I'm telling you, man, he's dangerous anytime he gets in a situation where he's got a wide field here.
Gives
and man coverage.
Gives Missouri something to think about next week too, doesn't it? I mean, it does.
Yep.
Little quarterback draw here. Well, there was a time, and unless you remember this, you might lose your starting quarterback, and then all of a sudden you've got maybe a quarterback doesn't know as much of the playbook, but he can run a quarterback draw. Sometimes defenses don't know what to do with it. You know?
You have to give him something he can do, which is exactly right.
And the Bobcat defense helped him on that last play there. Their tackles were jetting upfield on outside rushes and just opened up the middle of the front. That allowed Sparks to just squeeze through there. He didn't have to squeeze much. It was wide open.
Pickup of 10. That's Worship in motion. Purdue now with 504 total yards. Sparks lunges ahead this time. Brad Ellis with the stop, number 3.
Yeah, Brad Ellis playing that field corner position, folded back underneath there nicely after watching Sparks get a couple of great plays on the grounds.
Jeff Brom is substituting liberally. His second team's going in the game. We're finding something else to do with a new backfield set, and they're moving the football. All good signs.
And Blau checks back into the game, and they gave the youngster an opportunity to lather up a little, show some wares. As we mentioned, not only Missouri coming up, but their next home game will be in a couple of weeks against Michigan.
I think the pickup on Coach's point, again, he's managed, has Jeff Brom, his quarterback scenario. We saw how David had his dauber down last week after the interceptions thrown. Come back tonight, have an outstanding performance, couple of touchdown passes. He's just playing extremely well. Now his confidence level is back. Sindelar also playing exceptionally well. And then Sparks now getting an opportunity to show his ability.
3rd down, they get a first down, they drive for a score. If they don't get a first down, do they need to see this field goal kicker kick? It's going to be interesting to see
whether they go. Yeah, that's a good point, because you know, a lot of times with bigger games coming up, you might want to see. We'll find out as Cunningham undercuts DJ Knox right there, and it does appear that they're sending Evans out there for a long field goal. They're going to need some of those in the tighter games that you play in the Big Ten, Les. Michigan, as I mentioned, coming in here, and Missouri, as you know, has Locke at quarterback. They're going to have to score a lot of points next week.
There's a host of schools that can play awfully good football, and that they'll have to have 3 points on call.
33-yard attempt coming here for Evans. He's been on the mark most of the night, and that was blocked. But it got through. That ball was tipped, but he had enough. That's a strong leg. That's when you know you got a strong leg.
That's called an assist. I mean, that's an alley-oop.
Let's see who got the hand on it. Right at the line of scrimmage. 92. Only Essay got a hand on it. That's an assist to him.
You have a legal formation. More than 4 minutes of the backfield.
Now, you know,
so we got a late call. We thought we were going to break, but there was a penalty, an illegal formation, it appears, that the officials were telling us. It was a late flag.
And the choice to go and kick this thing is just what the coach wanted, because he says, "Hey, listen, I got one blocked. I made it. I had an illegal formation, all of which he needed to coach."
Good stuff. Which gives you a chance at the always important do-over.
That's correct.
So they'll try one now from 38 yards and see if they can get it blocked accurately. And the kick is certainly that. That was much more artistic.
I'm impressed with very impressed with the special teams of Purdue. I mean, they've shown up, they've punted, they've kicked out of bounds, they've done a great job.
Nice work. Les Miles, who's now proven that he can count from 10 to 1 to a break and take us out of a break. A grizzled veteran already.
Yeah.
Handling the.
Okay, we have a nice return coming here.
That's Julian Ross.
Physical. Everybody's playing physical, hard-nosed football to finish the game, and
man faces rising star Ketlin Viana. It's a battle you won't want to miss. UFC 215 prelims next Saturday at 8 Eastern on FS1. Les Miles was tweeting during the Mayweather-McGregor bout. That was, for those in the Twitter world, that was must viewing. You were all over it. My goodness. Here's Rourke with a little play fake and looking for Poppy White, and he's got him out of bounds at the 34. The fight is actually tomorrow. I think I may have said Saturday. Saturday is tomorrow, so it's Friday. This is Friday. I was thinking next week, perhaps, and my apologies for that. So it is tomorrow, that battle.
You know, OU is playing hard. They just get a first down. They're running the ball hard. I just want you to know something. No one has told them what the score is, and that's good. In other words, they're building. They're taking time, and they're going to look at a game film versus Purdue and say, you know what? In the MAC, we don't play as good a talent as this, and we're going to be fine.
On second down, beautiful pass and catch that time. Thrown only where the receiver could get it. Mason Morgan, the tight end, redshirt senior from Cincinnati, on the receiving end.
TJ Hallow was in defense in that time. He put that ball right on his back shoulder. Excellent throw, despite the defender that was standing there. I don't think he even saw the ball go past him. Nice footwork, stepping up, avoiding.
Another nice pass. Cameron Odom grabs that one. Les, you've known Frank Solich a long time, but prior to the game, I know you went down to talk with both coaches, but the consistency, you know, you talk of long tenured coaches and guys. He's got 88 Mid-American Conference victories, and you go all the way back to his days at Nebraska with Dr. Tom when you were on McCartney's staff at Colorado.
The thing you tell about Frank Solich is he's a quality man. He knows the names of assistants, kids. He's a part of a big family, and it's the Bobcat family, and it's Athens, Ohio, and Ohio University. So he epitomizes, in my opinion, a great coach.
Yeah, no question, and a throwback in so many ways. He's humble. Spencer, they actually put his face on the ticket sales brochure this year, and he got upset about it. Well, he didn't want to be acknowledged.
Any great leader is selfless in that regard, and when you look at that, the hallmark of a great leader is how much he facilitates the success of other people. 72 All-MAC honorees have been under his tutelage, and again, that's indicative of not just excellent coaching, but again, what he's done with the program that needed his leadership.
Nice pump fake and looking long for Odom. He has it.
Raise him up.
I believe that's a touchdown.
Raise him up.
Raise him up.
Yes.
The hat said raise him up. You raise him up. 25 yards for the touchdown to Cameron Odom.
Cameron Odom with a nice stick move up the field, and Acuna just got burnt. I mean, he was playing inside technique, didn't play with the kind of leverage that he needed. No need to try to turn around and look because you got beat. That's called dropping a dime.
Ooh, it is close. It is close, but I think you give it to him. It is close. This is check the white.
Let's see if they call it up and
they may
get a little review here.
Yeah, they will. They
will.
will.
On the field of a touchdown. Further review.
We've got Dean Blandino on it. And
I think the left leg is definitely in.
Well,
did he drag the left foot?
That toe was on that line.
The toe was on the line, Dino. But what do you think?
Yeah, the key is when does he gain control of the football? If you look at that left foot when he gains control, it looks like the left foot is down.
See?
Because then that right foot, that's a heel toe. The heel's inbounds. The toes might be on the white, but it looks like that left foot is inbounds when he gains control.
Very similar to the Ohio State-Indiana game. Hoosiers got a touchdown that way, and it wasn't called a touchdown initially. They actually overturned it. This one is actually called a touchdown.
And it looks like a great call, and I think they're going to confirm this in replay.
Control with the heel.
Well done.
Control with the heel. Is that good enough?
No, control with that first foot, the toe. If that heel hits inbounds, but a normal step and the toes come out of bounds, that foot's out of bounds.
That's how I saw it.
But what you're saying is if he has control and the back foot is in,
it's a catch.
It's a catch, and that's okay. So now, does anybody want to bet a bag of Cheerios? Anybody want to bet a quarter? Just a quarter.
That's touchdown.
It's a touchdown, I think so.
And he's making. He's making the catch.
A pot,
yeah, I believe he had control of the ball. I really do.
A pot. You could put a quarter in.
I don't think you overturn that.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
Thank you.
Blandino and Pereira are perfect. See, this is where it pays dividends to have these guys. Blandino and Pereira are perfect. I mean, they're undefeated. But that was a drag left foot that was in at the point the ball was caught. That's the first career touchdown for this outstanding redshirt freshman from Bedford, Ohio. Played at the same high school of the same name. Played both quarterback and receiver in high school. Was the conference's MVP as a senior. Nice work. Bobcats still fighting, still clawing, down 23 in West Lafayette. Looks like the hands team for Purdue is all set up with anticipation of the onside kick. Potential of it anyway. Now they're backing off just a little.
Just kick a void kick. Let's find a void in there and kick a kick. It hits in the grass.
About in the 40 or so.
By the way,
they may drive it back there.
Did you taste the grass while you were down there?
I did not taste the grass. I can see, the well-manicured grass as opposed to the lawnmower grass.
I gotcha. They do go deep. DJ Knox is back there.
Hit the ground.
Takes it on the bounce.
Oh.
Nice hit. Bevy of Bobcats there at the 22 after a 17-yard return. You got a new coach, and the Boilermakers now have a brand new performance complex. Just completed last month. 112,000 square foot facility features a new locker room, meeting rooms, weight rooms, and a lobby showcasing Purdue's history. A $65 million project. The investment that needed to be made and really helped bring in Jeff Brom with a 6th year added to his contract. And Elijah Sindelar is checked in there. You see it. That's where we met with the coaches. Got a full-scale look at it with Sports Information Director Matt Rector, who has been so kind and hospitable to us. Nice run by Brian Langford-Johnson, you're high on him, Les.
Yes, I am. And they need to give him some playing time in with the twos to make sure that if something happened to our lead back, that he can come in.
We got a call here. Flag down.
First white foul on the Purdue bench. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First.
You cannot come off that bench. That's the second time we've had this happen. It's about size. If you get on the field, anywhere on the field.
Where's the get-back coach?
The get-back coach is Brady Brom, his 12-year-old son. And I guess it is a family affair here.
Still be first there.
Brady had a game last night. There he is.
That was Brady.
The get-back coach was legal. The dad and maybe some family members weren't. Are you kidding me? Really? You're going to call that now? So a 15-yard penalty after a 16-yard gain. So you still come up with a yard pickup because the penalty was post-play. So the ball is spotted at the 21-yard line. 4 and change remaining.
2 back. Maybe they're going to run it out.
Tell you, I don't know of a team right now that I've seen in college football that uses the tight ends any better than Purdue. And they're both so effective. Here's Langford-Johnson again. And we saw it, Spencer, last week and again tonight. Herdman and Hopkins. I mean, and they could go long, these two tight ends.
Well, I think the way they attacked the field, whether it was in the middle of the field or working the edges, again, some of that was formation, some of it was busted assignment, but Jeff Brom just did a nice job of dissecting exactly where the voids were in the system. Again, this sequence of plays shows tight ends at either side of the field and in the middle. It's almost like surgery, putting stress on the entire breadth and width of the field horizontally.
The best team, or the championship team, I should say, that Les Miles had at LSU, they had outstanding tight end play. And it came up big in the national title game, no doubt about it. That's Sparks, who's capable of playing wide receiver. In fact, that's where they list him on the depth chart. But he can also, as you saw earlier, become an RPO quarterback.
Well, here's a lesson for young coaches. Brom brings in the tight end, and he's handed the ball off twice.
Yeah.
In other words, it's not just an open set where guys can come off the edge and hit you in the backfield. This is a wise, at some point in time you bring in another tight end, and it allows you to run the clock out. It appears to me that's what their thinking is.
The NFL, I know you spent time with the Cowboys, Les, and I can't remember a time when they didn't have a great tight end, no matter what their team record was. And there's a Langford-Johnson pop free. Boy, he does have quick legs, those short, choppy steps, Spencer, just the way you like it.
Well, those short, choppy steps don't work unless those guards who are pulling from the backside, the if block around is what made that play work. Outstanding job by Vercobi. Did a nice job of ifing around. In other words, if he's covered, he can scoop around and get underneath that and be an escort to help him get extra yards. It's an outstanding job by the off guard.
They like that play to a covered guard, and they double the three, double the single man on top of the guard, and bring that puller around on a linebacker.
Yeah.
With the extra back, they block them all.
Barouj Yakubi, you were talking about there, making that magnificent block.
Yeah, this is going to end quickly.
Coach, this is what you're going to be noting, and you were noting in the first half. Look at the set from the side. This guy's about a whole foot off the ball before he pulls. That's kind of giving you some sense of what he's doing. He's what we call if blocking around, trying to get that big body around in that space. He's not necessarily the most athletic, but he's got to put in. See, look at the step right here. Look at the position that he's in.
It's a skip step. I mean, they really drop it back and cross over if it's the same play, which is great line play.
By the way, I loved you on the film room the other night. You get into that 3 technique, but I must tell you, Coach, if you have any issues with bladder control, we got you covered.
I want you to
speak for yourself, Tim.
I want you to know.
That's why there are 2 of us here.
I asked, and they said, no, please, no. So I felt terrible about that, and I heard more about that than any other comments that I made. Hey, you went to the restroom right in the middle of the show.
I'm okay. Listen, that's what sets the hat apart right there. In a nutshell, that's it. Under a minute to play. This is a marvelous performance and something that they can really build on.
Victory formation, the best formation in all of college football. And Purdue gets the opportunity, and the sad thing is a great crowd is here to watch them, and now that crowd's kind of gone on in their own.
Still feels good, though.
So you're right. Jeff Brown and that family of coaches and players will take that victory and a deep breath and enjoy it, all the way.
Think of this staff he's assembled. Tony Levine is a special teams guy, former head man himself, and oh my gosh,
great staff.
And his brothers.
And he's doing a great job making calls.
There's the get-back coach behind him, Brady, and quickly over to see Frank Solich. So much respect that those two share for one another. Game is greater for Frank Solich remaining in it all these years. This is his 73rd birthday, Frank Solich, and he looks like he could still play the game. He does.
He's a fine, just a good quality man. How about this?
Check out the lighting here. Friday Night Lights. Where's the discotheque? I'm ready to go right now.
You're on your own,
Timmy B. It's the hat and toe tap and Timmy B on the loose.
Timmy B.
In West Lafayette. A remarkable victory for